And we're back with Smith's G5 football review, week 4, college football, group of 5. Another good week, not quite over yet. Still got Troy at BYU at 10:15. We'll start with UAB at South Alabama. UAB got off to a hot start, starting 14-0. Both touchdowns coming by Spencer Brown. South Alabama's defense going to do much to stop UAB's offense. They totaled in 509 yards of total offense. UAB went 10 for 16 on third down, so that most certainly helped them. 11 penalties for 122 yards, though. That's crazy. But Spencer Brown, good game for him. 20 carries, 105 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tied and broke the UAB rushing touchdown record. So that's 36 touchdowns now in his career at UAB. Good for him. Congratulations. UAB wide receiver Austin Watkins finished with 7 receptions, 183 yards and a touchdown. South Alabama's running back Carlos Davis had 17 carries, 105 yards. South Alabama's linebacker Riley Cole finished with 9 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for loss. So, good day for UAB. South Alabama really struggled. The final was UAB 42, South Alabama 10. I predicted this game to be a little bit closer, with UAB winning 34-27. But like I said, didn't end such a quiet game. Kind of surprising, actually. UAB looks pretty good, especially Spencer Brown. Next game is Middle Tennessee State and UTSA. A game I did not have much interest in watching, and I actually missed it because I forgot about it. So that just goes to tell you what I thought of particularly Middle Tennessee State. But they showed up in this game. UTSA gave up 563 total yards of offense to Middle Tennessee State's offense, who has been struggling like crazy through the first 3 games. And Middle Tennessee State controlled this game. They had the ball for 35 minutes and 40 seconds. They had 191 yards rushing. Asher O'Hara had 372 yards passing, 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Can clean up those 2 interceptions, but still a pretty good day from him. Wide receiver Jaron Pierce from Middle Tennessee State, 7 receptions, 107 yards. Middle Tennessee State's linebacker DQ Thomas had 5 total tackles, 1 sack, and 1.5 tackles for loss. And UTSA's quarterback Josh Adkins finished the game with 233 yards and 1 touchdown, no turnovers. I said in my preview, that Sincere McCormick, the running back for UTSA, was going to be like the key player of the game. And he did enough for his team. He had 19 carries for 82 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I was right. He did his thing. He helped his team escalate to a win. UTSA wide receiver Zachary Franklin had 6 receptions, 119 yards, and a touchdown. So another quality day from him. The final of this game was UTSA 37, MTSU 35. So like I said, I wasn't expecting much from Middle Tennessee State, especially their offense. They finally woke up a little bit. I predicted this game to be 45-17, having UTSA win, but good job by Middle Tennessee State picking it up a little bit next time. A few less turnovers, and I think they could win. They could start winning some games. Next game is Georgia Southern at Louisiana. Really fun game to watch. Good defense, some good offensive plays. Really, really just a perfect game to watch for me anyways. First possession for each team ended a turnover and downs. After that, both of them followed with a touchdown. That kind of seemed to be the case a lot for this game. One kind of repeated what the other one would do. So if the other one turned the ball over on downs, the other one turned the ball over on downs. If we ended in a touchdown, the other one would end the drive in a touchdown. They went interception for interception at one point, and then matched field goal at one point. Let's talk about Beau Johnson's fumble. He's running to the goal line for Georgia Southern to tie the game up 17-17 but as he's stretching to dive for the end zone, he fumbles the ball and it goes out of bounds. It was originally called a touchdown. They reviewed it. It was not even close to a touchdown. Touchback, Louisiana got the ball. So here's where I'm expecting Louisiana to really, take control and end the game and play aggressive to end the game, play to win, not play to not lose, or, that saying. But they didn't. They played very conservative. If I recall, they ran the ball 3 times or twice up the middle, and on third down, then they took the shot deep over the middle on third down into double coverage, and it was incomplete. They ended up punting, and, off that punt, Georgia Southern, they capitalized on it, and they went down the field and scored. So the game when they were down 17-10, Georgia Southern got the ball off of that, and I said they have the offense where, they run that new style triple option offense. I really thought they should just kill the clock and score with as least amount of time as possible. They threw the ball a lot on that last drive, which is okay. They needed to get down there, but I do think they should have killed more clock, and you'll know why in a second. So Georgia Southern scores. I'm not surprised. Their coach went for 2, called for the 2-point conversion. They got the 2-point conversion. I wasn't shocked there. I said if I was them, I would probably try to end the game there. But I think they left like 54 seconds on the clock, and an offense like Louisiana's, that's too much time. They didn't have Elijah Mitchell. That was a big pain, I think, for Louisiana today. I think they would have been able to control the game a lot more if they had their star running back. He was actually my player to watch, and I didn't even know he wasn't playing. It must have been a game time decision or something, but yeah, he wasn't playing. I didn't hear what they said, if it was COVID related or not. If it was COVID related, I would hope these teams wouldn't have continued to play anyways, but they did. So Georgia State throws the ball with, on that drive to score the touchdown, and it was a crazy good catch by Caleb Hood. It was a one-handed catch, and on top of that, the defender hit him right where the ball was in his chest. He came down with it. 2-point conversion made. Just when you thought Georgia Southern was gonna win the game, Louisiana went right down the field, and Nate Snyder kicked a 53-yard field goal to win the game. Georgia Southern went 8 for 14 on third down, so they did what they needed to do. They kept their offense on the field a lot, ran the ball, ate the clock, and it wasn't enough. Georgia Southern's running back, J.D. King, had 24 carries for 100 yards, 4.2 average, and a touchdown. Georgia Southern's wide receiver, Wesley Kennedy, had 2 receptions for 105 yards. So, yeah, that was, 2 good catches from him. Like I said, no Elijah Mitchell. I think that really hurt Louisiana's game plan on what they want to do. Louisiana's linebacker, per usual, Lorenzo McCaskill, finished with 14 tackles. Always pretty much seems to be all over the place each game. So Louisiana ended up winning 20-18 at the end of regulation. My prediction was Louisiana would win this game 38-23. And we will get now into Army versus Cincinnati. I didn't write anything down for this game because this is going to come strictly off the tongue. I said Army needed this game really bad to prove that they belonged in the top 25, and they were back to that 2018 form and not 2019, that coming off of this 5-8 season that they had. And their defense showed up. There was a goal line stand they had, 2 turnovers. They gave their offense every single opportunity on earth to score and go up ahead. Heck, at one point, I'll go far as to say Army should have been up 21-7 at one point. But their offense never got it together. They were very bad. They don't even look like a top 50 team on offense. Offensive line was completely horrible. I don't know. Obviously, the first 2 games were just the opponents they were facing because they finally got matched with an opponent that was serious and they got their teeth kicked in big time. I said for player to watch for this game, I said was going to be Army's offensive line versus Cincinnati's defensive line, and the game would be won and lost for Army in those trenches. Well, Cincinnati not only beat them in the trenches, they, like I said, kicked their teeth in the trenches. The outside blocking, perimeter blocking for Army was terrible. No outside blocking. Christian Anderson had to retreat before he even started going forward, which is not good in triple option offense. On first down, they couldn't get anything going. First down was important for triple option offenses. They couldn't do anything on first down. Well, I mean, they couldn't really do anything on first, second, or third down. Then on top of it, Army had a punt blocked, and then we'll get into Army's penalties. Then a few times Army did manage to get any offense, they blew them with penalties. So undisciplined football. Offense coordinator Brent Davis, not a good day for him. Army's always talking about how they live and die by the run. They live and die by the run, and it's true. They live and die by the run. But when Army was only down by 10 and they were throwing the ball out there like they were freaking, like they had Coach Leach out there for Mississippi State out there now, throwing the ball freaking 60, 70 times a game. I don't know what the heck they were thinking. Down by 10, you're still in reasonable amount of time, Just, you need to get a field goal, which they did at one point, to make it a 7-point game. And then there's no rush after that. It was probably like the middle of the third quarter. But, so you're in a good position to still tie the game up, despite your offense playing disastrous football. I would say they probably didn't even show up. I would have put the defense in on offense too. But this game made me really angry. I have it here. I even lost what I said. What I was saying. I even lost what I was saying because this game was so crazy. Army threw the ball 21 times. 21 times. Now I remember what I was saying. You're down by 7. Army gets the ball and they call a play action pass play and they throw it downfield and it gets intercepted, and now you gave the ball back to Cincinnati. What are you doing? They showed glimpses, little small tiny glimpses of hope from their offense. But like I said, every time they showed that hope, either it was a miserable pass call that the coach made, or a stupid penalty from one of the players. Just an ugly performance. Ugly performance. Army only ran the ball for 182 yards. 10 total penalties at the end of the game, with felt like what was like 20 penalties. Cincinnati just did a great job. Their defense did a magnificent job of really just taking away the option attack for Army. They showed Army's not a top 25 team on the offensive side of things. Defensively, Army is legit on defense. Their offense has got a lot to figure out. So my prediction was Army would win 24-21. Can't pick against my team. You could probably tell from my prediction video, I wasn't too confident in that, because the 2 games they did play, they weren't against great teams, and most certainly showed Cincinnati really kicked their teeth in the line of scrimmage. And that was it for that game. Cincinnati wins it 24-10. They covered the spread. Army couldn't even keep up with that, and Army is now 2-1, and Cincinnati moves on to 2-0. Next thing I'll talk about is UTEP at University of Louisiana Monroe. UTEP controlled really pretty much all this game. They were up at one point 24-0. Louisiana Monroe went 0 for 11 on third down, so clearly couldn't convert to capitalize on any kind of drives. ULM only totaled 193 yards. They gave up 512. 21 first downs for UTEP, only 6 for ULM. So like I said, again, they weren't moving the ball very much. UTEP running back Dion Hankins had 22 carries, 118 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So great day from him. UTEP wide receiver Justin Garrett had 7 receptions for 120 yards. And UTEP linebacker Stephen Forrester had 8 total tackles, 1 sack, and 1.5 tackles for a loss. I had this game, the prediction for me was UTEP would win 23-13. The score ended up being 31-6 in favor of UTEP. So next game we'll get into is Tulane at Southern Miss. I predicted Southern Miss to win this game. Tulane coming off of a really deflating loss to Navy. I was wrong. Tulane did win the game, and they put up a lot of offense. I don't remember which game it was, but Tulane's coach said they were going to try to be more of a passing team this year, but they run the ball really well. So why try to become something that you're not, or why try to not do something that you're good at? It doesn't make too much sense to me. They really embraced who they were in this game. They rushed for 430 yards. Southern Miss, they started winning the game. They were up 14-0, and then they threw an interception, and Tulane capitalized on that, allowing Tulane to get back in the game. That's where you really started seeing change. Tulane's running backs, Cameron Carroll had 15 carries for 163 yards, 10.9 average, and 3 touchdowns. Stephon Hudderson had 11 carries for 120 yards, 10.9 average, and a touchdown. So Tulane got production out of 2 of their backs, and obviously more too because they had 430 total yards rushing. Tulane defensive end Patrick Johnson had 4 total tackles, 1.5 sacks, and 2 tackles for loss. Southern Miss quarterback Jack Abraham went 23 for 38, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Again, that 1 interception coming when they were up 14-0. Not a good time. If they score on that drive to make it 21-0, we might be talking about a different ball game. So, Southern Miss wide receivers Jason Brownlee, 3 receptions, 110 yards, and 1 touchdown. DeMarcus Jones, 11 receptions for 77 yards. Southern Mississippi's linebacker Hayes Maples had 15 total tackles and 2 tackles for loss. The game ended 66-24. Like I said, the game was really one for Tulane in the run game. They should just stick to that, keep pounding the ball, just hand it off to Carroll and Hudderson all year like that, and probably shouldn't have too many problems running the table. I'm not sure what the rest of their schedule looks like, but we'll see about Tulane. They won 66-24. After the deflating loss to Navy, I had them losing this game. I had Southern Miss winning 35-27. I don't know what happened to Southern Mississippi's defense, but they were really non-existent. Next game was a late game at 10:15, my upset pick. I said I wasn't sold on BYU because they played a team that hadn't practiced, hadn't hit, anything like that. Well, today I can't say that anymore because they did play a team that was practicing and hitting, and they still dominated. They had 664 yards of total offense. They had the ball for 40 minutes and 7 seconds, just completely controlling the game. They had 32 first downs. Troy only had 8, I think. Yeah, 8. Only had 8 first downs the entire game. Zach Wilson, quarterback for BYU, went off. He had a day. He went 23 for 28, 392 yards and 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. He also had a rushing touchdown. He had 2 rushing touchdowns on the day, so 4 total touchdowns for Zach Wilson. BYU's running backs, they played well. I mean, they weren't explosive as I thought they were. Gopini Katoa had 11 carries for 76 yards. Tyler Allegier had 10 carries for 50 yards. So nothing crazy special from them. They just did what they needed to do. When they got the ball, they made something with it. BYU's wide receivers, Dax Milne, had 7 receptions, 140 yards and a touchdown. So big day for him. And Gunnar Romney, 5 receptions for 138 yards. BYU won the game 48-7. I picked, as you know, Troy to win 38-35 in an upset. Wasn't sold on BYU. Can't say that anymore. They really put on a performance, and BYU is looking really good. And that really does it for this week. A lot of games canceled this week. Let me bring up what games were canceled really quick. North Texas and Houston, South Florida and Florida Atlantic, Tulsa and Arkansas State, Georgia State and Charlotte were all canceled due to COVID-19. And that's it for week 4. Week 5 predictions will be out Tuesday or Wednesday. Again, depending on what the week 5 schedule looks like. Week 5 already? Sheesh. Oof. It's going even quicker with this Corona. But just to recap quick, Georgia Southern Louisiana game was really good. That game ended 20-18. Really back and forth action. Some good defense, some good offense in that game. Disappointed for Army. Really disappointed for Army. I was very harsh on them, and again, as a hardcore fan, you're going to be harsh on your team when they perform as bad as they did. They'll be all right the rest of the season, especially with the defense the way they're playing. It's just frustrating that this team, especially the defense, has been in position to be a top 25 team, and every time they get in front of that top 25 or top 5 team, it doesn't end in their favor. It happened against Oklahoma, happened against Michigan, and then how Cincinnati just beat Army's offense yesterday was just frustrating. But I'm fully expecting a bounce back for the rest of the season for Army. I don't think they'll have another losing season. I think they'll learn from this, and they'll move on. And yeah, that's pretty much it for week 4.